Join me on my way into work as I sum up my likes and dislikes of the QJ Moto SRT900SX. Let's get going. Okay, first of all, I've had the bike now for about 6 weeks. I've had it for 2,000 miles or so, courtesy of MotoGP, who are the importers. So, thanks to Ram up at MotoGP. So, let's start with some things I like about the bike. Let's start at the front, move away forwards. So, overall, I like the look of the bike. It's got good road presence. Certainly the face on the bike is very distinctive, and on the road people tend to get out of the way. Tyres, it comes with a set of Maxxis sort of road adventure tyres, sort of 70/30, 20/80, and I must say I've ridden it in all weather conditions, including a little bit frosty some mornings, and I've got no complaints at all. They give me all the grip I could want. They seem to be giving good longevity, so pretty good bike, pretty good tyres. Front suspension, that's Marzocchi, fully adjustable for rebound and preload. You adjust 1/4 for one, 1/4 for the other. I think they're 43mm, but I wouldn't swear to that. And that suspension, along with the Marzocchi monoshock at the back, give me no cause for complaint either. So even pushing on a little bit on some backcountry roads up here in Shropshire, if you hit a bump mid-corner, the bike's not unsettled. The brakes are by Brembo, and again, plenty of feel in the brakes. Plenty of stopping power when you want it, and plenty of nice feel when you want to have a little bit more finesse. Coming forward, another thing I like about the bike is the riding position. Nice wide bars, and on those bars you get heated grips, 3 levels, and generally I've not had a problem with them being too cool. They do take a little while to warm up fully, but if you set the bike up, start it up, put the grips on while you're getting your gloves on stuff, then the bike's fine. Coming across the bars, on the left hand side we've got a main block of buttons. We've got the controls for the touch screen and the modes. Now the thing about that is, with the controls for the TFT screen, they're the only thing that's backlit, which is a bit curious because they're the only thing you can't change while you're on the move, so I'm not sure why you'd have that. The mirrors are brilliant. Every biker worries about blind spots. I'm always going on to my students about a blind spot, but quite frankly, there is no blind spot in these mirrors. I can see right back to the rear carrier, so I can see the road right beside me. So they are excellent mirrors. No vibration in the mirrors coming from the engine. We've got a USB there. I'd like a USB-C. And what worries me a little bit, there's no weather protection from it, so if you're in the pouring rain and you've got a USB cable plugged in there, it's going to get wet. Great big 24-litre tank, which gives you nice range. Then you get to the bit where I'm sitting on. These seats, heated seats, or actually just the rider seat is heated. But it's nice and comfortable. It is an all-day seat, and I've been spending five hours a day on average on this by the time you take into tuition, riding to and from work, and it's not given me a sore arse yet. Under the seat we've got the parallel twin engine from QJ Moto 904cc, 97 brake horsepower, and I must say that's a really eager engine. In sport mode the throttle can be a little bit sharp, but the engine is keen to give you everything that you're going to ask of it. Going back a little bit, we come to, what do we come at the back? The rear pillion seat. There's a nice staggered step up to that, so when the pillion, Caroline is on the back, she can see clearly over my head, which makes for a good view for the pillion. And the bike comes with 3-piece aluminium luggage. I don't have it, but it does have that. And then right at the back there's the exhaust. It's a nice fruity exhaust, especially when you're on your game and you've got the throttle twisted open. It really does bark very nicely. It's not unobtrusive, it's not it's not obtrusive, it's not too noisy, but it is a pleasant sound. So I think that's what I like about it. Now let's go through what I'm not so keen. So starting at the front, there's a traditional adventure bike, great big silver beak. Kinda looks a little bit sort of like duck build, probably a little bit too wide. Somebody said to me it was overstyled. Coming back a little bit further, we come to the quick shifter. It's got a quick shifter, which is nice to have, except this one's so oversensitive. You just slide your foot forward to get ready to do a quick up change and bang, the engine revs cut. The quick shifter just seems to be oversensitive. Now maybe you can adjust that, I haven't got round to it, but it's up and down. And that leads on to the gearbox. The gearbox also is, if I'm being honest, the weak point. Can't say whether it's just this bike or other bikes, but hard to find a neutral when you want it. So when you're parking up and you want that neutral, it'll tell you it's in neutral, but let the clutch out and it'll jump forward. So you're clunking between first and second without actually finding a neutral. It is nice and manoeuvrable, as you can see here, for a little bit of filtering. That's thanks to these nice wide bars and an excellent seating position. Okay, so coming back to what I like and I don't like, so at the front, coming back to the bars, I sometimes find the TFT screen really hard to see what's going on, especially the indicators. The contrast is a little bit low, but although the indicators are up in the black surround of the TFT screen, they are hardly visible at times. And then it would be nice to be able to change modes. It'd be nice to go from sport to rain or road to rain when it starts raining if you're on the road. Unfortunately you can't do it on this bike. So coming back again about the engine, I like the fact that the engine has 26,000 mile intervals between checks for clearances on the valves. Standard, I think it is 6,000 for the oil. And then we're back to the gearbox again. I've already mentioned that neutral, which is hard to find, except when you don't want the neutral. So if you're hard on the gas coming up the gearbox, give it a good solid click up, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, you can find neutral sometimes in almost any of those gears. You give it a click up, you'll engage the gear, and then it drops out into neutral. Not what you want when you're accelerating hard up through the gearbox. At the rear we've got the Mazoshi shocker. Again, you can adjust it for preload and rebound. The unfortunate thing is for preload, it's with a C-spanner and it's really hard to get at. So if you're like me, you swap between single rider and pillion. It's a little bit of a pain to get a C-spanner in there. So that's not one of my favourites. Also, this is a little niggle. Where the rear panniers fit, there are little aluminium fittings that stick out that it's all too easy to catch yourself on. It's a real pain. It'd be nice to have something a little bit less sticky outy, something a little bit better overall designed. The overall riding position is absolutely great. Slow manoeuvres, dawdle, riding around town, absolute breeze. Plenty of leverage on these bars, plenty of grip on the hand grips. The hand guards, not so keen on, in that you can't adjust them to protect your hands from the wind without moving the levers. Everything is adjusted with 2 bolts, which moves the levers and the hand guards and the mirrors. They're not, for instance, like Barkbusters, where they're a separate fitting. So that's not so good. I would like the pillion seat to also be heated. That'd be a nice idea. After all, pillion's bums get just as cold as the riders, and we like to cosset them as much as possible. Riding around town, the bike's quite nicely filled. It's not too jerky, but again, coming from first to second to first can be a bit clunky. So sometimes I find I've just stayed in a higher gear and used the torque to pull me away. Lovely balance in town, lovely balance for filtering, slow riding. I've got no complaints there. It's a very easy bike to balance. Welcome to early morning traffic in Shrewsbury. So overall, I think the likes outweigh the dislikes, and there's that big like. The big like is the price. 8 grand with everything, so that's all in, including the 3-piece luggage, which makes it a serious contender. Maybe not with top of the line mid-range adventure bikes, which will be twice the price, and you can see some reasons why they're more expensive. But certainly it's something to consider when you think about possibly buying second hand. You may not be able to get a second hand adventure bike with a few thousand miles on the clock for the same price as this. And that's where you have to decide the benefits against the downside. But it's been a very interesting 6 weeks. And all I can say is, watch out guys, the Chinese are most definitely coming. Just like the Japanese did in the 60s. If these are their sort of second offerings, then they're pretty much there. I think their next offerings will be really, really on the ball, and if they can keep the prices as keen as they have done for these ones, then it could be that we end up buying a lot more Chinese bikes. That's it for now from me and the SRT900. Look out for another video soon with a new bike, and please, if you haven't done so already, like and subscribe. That's very important, and let's see what comes next. Bye for now.